Hey yo, Go Format players, it's Scaled Brown Magician here, and I'm with the 200 sub special baseball beatdown. It's the profile. Let's get into it. I know you guys have been waiting. So, I really like this profile because the origin story is super dope. As I mentioned in the first video, Sam10 is the creator of this deck, and he actually made this for a probability class. So you know that the theorizing behind the numbers and the rationale behind the monster count is very sound because it was for a class, it was for a grade. So I actually really liked the fact that he's running a modified monster count. When I first rebuilt this deck after playing him, I was running 3 twin-headed, 3 ultimate baseball kid, and I was running a sacred phoenix in there as well. And I was running 3 and 2 of Inferno and Spirit of Flames, but I asked him for his original build, and this is pretty much what he had. The only card that I swapped out is instead of Ring, I put in Lightning Vortex, and I'm just play testing it. I think Ring is a pretty solid card in here as well, but I think, anyways, the monster count and the monster lineup, it's really genius because you only have 5 summons off of your reasoning and your monster gate, and then you have 4 that are going to get milled. And if you have one of these in hand, and you have a monster gate and a reasoning, you know that you're most likely going to be able to summon him out because you're going to be able to mill past one of your other 3 in deck. But also, what's nice is just that because it's only 2, 2, and 1, doing that math in your head, it's really easy, and you can literally just think in 2 seconds, okay, if I use my reasoning right now, I have a 1 in 3 chance of hitting DMOC. And then worst case, I have a 2 in 3 chance of hitting, twin-headed. So it's like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely going to use reasoning, right? If you have like an ultimate baseball kid in hand, and then you've used Monster Gate and they've seen kind of some of the monsters, now you can use your reasoning, and it's just a little more, it's just tricky to call levels in this deck, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. But what's really nice is he's running this triple jar of greed and reckless greed. And, when I first saw it, I was questioning it. And when I first dueled him, I was like, why are you running jar of greed? I've never really seen that in a reasoning gate deck. And it's so funny because just recently there was a GOAT format Italia tourney, and basically the guy who topped it, he was playing a Cyberstein OTK, and he was playing triple jar of greed and 2 upstart goblin. So there's definitely some statistics behind running jar of greed in a reasoning gate deck, and it's just to thin your deck and get to the cards that you need. And instead of running upstart goblin, because dealing enough damage can sometimes be an issue, he runs reckless greed, and it's a little intimidating. And I actually don't know if I've gotten to use it in playtesting yet, but it's intimidating to think that you're going to skip your next 2 draw phases. But I guess the point of the deck is you really are able to thin through the deck and be able to know the right time to use reckless greed. I did have it set once, but I had 2 reasoning in hand, and by the time I used both reasonings and went through my combo, I didn't even need reckless greed. I had all the combo pieces I needed. But I really like the statistics behind this deck and being able to draw the cards that you need relatively quickly. But like any reasoning gate deck, there's variance, and there's going to be hands that you open and you break. But I do think the monster lineup's super sound. I mean, bringing these guys out to get your monster gate plays, maybe get your normal summon for twin-headed beast, maybe it's to get your banish for defusion. There's just a lot of cool things that you can do with the deck, and when you get the combo off, you'll see what I mean. As far as decide, I'm just gonna give myself a plug, and let's just go reasoning gate, right? Dragons. You can easily swap in the Horus engine because you're already playing all the cards that you need, and then you can just swap out the jar of greeds for triple decree, right? And then you can just switch up the levels that they have to call now. It'll be something completely different. So I've gone into this in a match, and it's pretty devastating going game 3 with this, or going game 2, and then just opening, you go first and you just open a ridiculous board with, Horus, you know, King Dragoon, and Set Decree. So you could always do that for the side. And as far as some of the stratagems that's more specific to the deck, yeah, honestly, DMOC and Diffusion will push your OTK through, because if you can get, one or two of your power spells with DMOC, it's typically game, because you can get whatever piece of the puzzle that you're missing. If you needed that giant Shrunade to clear back row to guarantee your swings going through, you can grab it. Maybe you just need one more monster to push for OTK, grab that Reasoning. Or sometimes it's even better yet to grab Monster Gate, because you can Monster Gate your DMOC so he gets banished, so you can Diffusion summon him again. Super crazy what you can do with DMOC and Diffusion. You see that combo, you're pushing your OTK through most of the time. Twin-headed, super underrated, so strong. I don't want to say he's underrated in the format, but in this deck, he's really like a huge MVP. I mean, he can either clear the field for you because he can attack twice, or you clear the field for him to attack in for 3,400, that's significant. So he's really versatile. He can clear the field of, set monsters or, just weak monsters, and then you can blast through with Ultimate Baseball Kid, or you can do it the other way around, because twin-headed by himself with an open field is 3,400 beat sick. Ultimate Baseball Kid can just reach ridiculous numbers in this deck, especially with the special summons that you get off of Spirit of Flames and Inferno, because you can get a ton of fire monsters on your side of the field, especially with Diffusion as well. So Ultimate Baseball Kid, he goes up in increments of 1,000, depending on however other amount of fire monsters you have on the field. So in the replay that I showed, there was 3 other fire monsters on the field besides himself, so he reached 3,500. And then he can burn potentially for 500 to 2,000 life points, depending on your other fire monsters on the field. So he's really versatile. There's been games where I poked for just enough damage where I used his burn effect for 500 to clean out the game. Really satisfying to use. Prima, obviously a huge combo piece, looping it with Giant Shrunade and being able to get back several monsters. You saw in the replay, it's really a strong card in the deck. So you have to be very careful when you use it. You don't want to use your Spirit of Flames and your Inferno, and you don't want to banish off your Ultimate Baseball Kid or your Twin-headed. Sometimes it's better to leave them in grave because you have Prima, or you potentially are going to draw into Prima, or Prima's in graveyard, but you know that you're going to be able to bring out DMOC soon. So you have to be very mindful when you're banishing with Spirit of Flames and Inferno, because usually you want to banish off the extra copies of your Spirit of Flames or Inferno, but it depends, right? It depends on the state of the game. So just be mindful of that. Another thing to be mindful for is Scapegoats. It's a key card in the deck because it's one of your few stall cards. This deck, it's like any Reasoning Gate deck. It's high variance. There's going to be hands where you brick, and Scapegoats is going to be the only thing that keeps you alive just long enough to get your couple of combo pieces that you need, right? But with Scapegoats at the same time, you don't want to use your Scapegoats if you see a majority of your combo pieces, because this deck really is summon heavy. So you don't want to be clogging up your own field with Scapegoats. There have been times where I've just swung in to clear out my field for like a Mirror Force, just so I could clear my field of more monsters so I could go into my OTK. Because you really do need a lot of monster zones available to you, especially because of Ultimate Baseball Kid's effect. This is a really fun deck to play, and when you get the combo, it's ridiculous. It feels really satisfying, and you just put out so much damage, and it's with these really cool monsters that no one plays. I really like the origin story of the deck with the whole statistics class thing. So the monster count is clean. The draw lineup is clean. If you look at my profile, you'll see I put all the draw cards here, 7 draw cards. Really ridiculous. I really enjoy this deck. now that it's out, I hope you try it out and enjoy it. I hope you pull off the combo. Tell me what you think of it in the comments. And if you guys know anything more about statistics and kind of how that plays a role into GOAT format, I would love to know about that kind of stuff. I'm kind of nerdy about that, and I want to refine my decks to that level where even statistically speaking, I have optimal draws and optimal opening hands. I've really been curious about that, and I'd love to make my decks even better for you guys. So if you know anything about that, let me know in the comment section below. And also, again, huge shout outs to you guys, the subs. I have over 230 subs now. It's insane. It's been growing. I love making content for you guys. I love showcasing these really crazy decks that, hey, aren't maybe meta worthy, but I think they're super fun. And because of GOAT format, you're able to pull them off every once in a while. And it's super dope when you do. So I hope you guys enjoy. And until the next deck profile, peace.